So we recently had a meetup for our channel at Colt Creek State Park in Florida.
Yep.
And this video is part 2 of that video. This is the Q&A section. Well, hey everybody, this is Bill.
And I'm Elizabeth. Live simple,
Live free. And we had a blast at the meetup. So many people came. I think we had 65 or 70 people there. And in the first video, we showed the meal that we had together and the trivia question contest that we had.
Yeah.
And what else was it? Oh, the awards for the oldest and the furthest away and those sorts of things. Now we're going into the Q&A, and it was so much fun. We just sat there and answered.
We stood there and answered.
Stood there and answered questions for probably well over an hour. And questions, all kinds of questions from people all over the place. Now, you'll notice that it was pouring rain the entire time. You can hear the rain in the background, and I'm sorry it makes kind of a loud video, but at least you can still hear us.
We were so grateful that that pavilion there in Colt Creek was really well built and the screens were helped. And so even though it was a little bit chilly and very rainy, everybody seemed to be just fine.
Yeah.
So
let's join in with the beginning of the Q&A session.
Live simple, live free!
okay.
So now we want to just open it up to basic Q&A questions, anything you want to ask us, like I said earlier, about our lives, our channel.
If anybody wants to come out and get more food,
whatever.
What you start a YouTube channel in the first place?
Okay, why did we start, or how did we get started in YouTube in the
can
first
everybody
place?
hear okay?
Do you need to sit through one?
Oh yeah, I'm going to sit down. Yep. Okay, we just got the question, how do we start a YouTube channel?
Yeah, so when we first bought this trailer in Pennsylvania that we were going to renovate, it was permanently set on this tiny little piece of property. And it was a disgusting little trailer, and it should have just been torn down, but
You'd stick to the walls.
we were in the process of losing all of our home and 3 rentals that we had. And
because of
my
the crash in
business-
2008.
Yeah, and my business in 2008 completely crashed, my construction business. We had nothing. We were this far from moving into just living in a car, which is not the same as full-time van life. I'm talking living in a car. You know what I'm saying?
We realized that people can end up homeless no matter how hard they try.
So I started renovating this little thing. I was going to replace it, but I couldn't afford it, so I started renovating it. And I had a number of friends from the Army on Facebook that were good friends, but I hadn't seen some of them in decades. And I just kind of mentioned offhand on Facebook that I was renovating this little trailer, and one of my buddies who happens to live in Virginia, and we were still in Pennsylvania at the time, started questioning me about it. So I thought, well, I'm going to make a video so he can show it to him. So I made a video about the renovation that I was doing. At that point, I was so new to social media that I didn't even know you could upload a video to Facebook. I knew you could upload a video to YouTube, though I didn't have a channel, but I uploaded it to YouTube and then took the link and shared it on Facebook so he could see it. And I had about 200 friends or so on Facebook at the time. We came down to Virginia a couple months later to visit our son, and I had happened to look at that video, and I had like 1,000 views on it. I was talking to Barry, and I said, I don't understand. I only have 200 friends on Facebook. How do I have 1,000 views on this video? And he said, well, you've done now he already had a channel, but I didn't know that. And he said, you did a video that is a topic that people are interested in, how to renovate a travel trailer. He said, people are searching it and then watching it so they can see what you're doing. And then he said one sentence that completely changed our lives forever. He said, you know, Dad, you can make money on YouTube. And I said, wait, what? I didn't have a clue. So he explained to me how if you make videos, they'll put ads in front of it, and if people watch it, you get paid a little bit. Well, turns out you get paid a fraction of a penny for each one, so you got to have a lot of volume.
Yeah, you don't make a lot of money unless it's a huge channel.
But I thought, after a while, you know, I did a couple more videos, renovation videos of the trailer, and it was like 6 weeks apart, just for my friend, you know. And I thought, you know, it would be cool. Maybe I should actually start a YouTube channel. Maybe I could make a couple $100 a month.
We could use it.
I had no idea. Yeah, at that point, I mean, we were scraping for money, and we could use $200. I had no idea how that would change our lives because actually, I have to back up a little bit.
Yeah,
I was a Thrive Life consultant long before I started YouTube, and I did one video on YouTube that was basically a presentation of me doing a home tasting party for Thrive Life, which is the way most consultants do it with the party plan. I had done one video, Thrive home tasting party video I put on YouTube, showed it on Facebook. I had about 50 views on it, no sales. I came back 6 months later, I had 52 views on it. Nobody was watching it, nobody was looking at it. So then when my son told me you could, you know, make money on YouTube, and I wasn't thinking Thrive at all, I was just thinking the ads, you know. I thought, well, that'd be cool if we could make a couple $100 a month. So I started doing it more videos, and actually launched a channel that was going to be just about the renovation and stuff. And at that point, it was just, the channel was just my name, Bill Keller. After we had done this for a while, we made a commitment to actually start a channel, and we made a commitment to doing one video a week. And it was about that time that all of a sudden I got 2 sales, Thrive sales, in the same day. One from Oklahoma and one from Texas. It's like, wait a minute, where in the world did those come from? And I had forgotten about that previous video that I did about Thrive. I went back and looked at it and had like 1,000 views on it. All of a sudden I realized what was happening. People were coming to my channel to see the renovation videos, and then they'd look around and they'd stumble onto this other video about Thrive, and 2 people made a purchase in the same day. It blew my mind. I thought, you know, I've got something here. So we stumbled into it not knowing what we were doing. So we committed more fully to building the channel, not so much Thrive, but building the channel. But then we changed the name to Tiny House Prepper, and our topics were tiny living, everything from renovating the trailer to how do you live together in 250 square feet.
And how do you go from a 2,500 square foot house to 250 square feet?
How do you downsize?
In 5.5 years.
So tiny house, and then prepper. How do you prep when you don't have any room for anything? You're in this little house.
And trying to give a lot of good information about things to be prepared.
So,
you know,
it kind of went along for 2 years.
well, in fact, at the end of the first year of doing at least one video every week, we had 264 subscribers. It was very exciting.
By the end of the second year, we had like 6,000 or 7,000, I forget. And then all of a sudden at that point, the channel exploded. And at that point, so did our Thrive business. And 2 years after that, I was able to quit driving a truck because of the combined income between YouTube and Thrive Life was more than I was making for a truck.
How many subscribers do you have now?
What?
How many subscribers do you have now?
182,000. And so that's how we got into YouTube, and that's also how we ended up doing so well in Thrive Life as well. And, you know, like I've mentioned before, I'm one of the leading consultants in the company now because of the support that you guys have given, and we just can't be grateful enough about that.
And it's really important to understand, I hope you can hear me, I should stand up, but it's really important to understand that we can't build a channel trying to sell Thrive Life. That's not what it's about. That's not what the channel is about. We have to put our heart into trying to put things out that people are hopefully going to be interested in, or that we can just share our lives. And just seeing us cook with it occasionally, I mean, I never felt like it's something we had to push really hard or try to really promote. Because if the people feel like, I mean, it amazes me that people trust us enough that if I say something tastes good, they buy it and they've never tasted it. So, I mean, I better be trustworthy, you know. So, if we try to tell people, don't try to build a commercial channel. That's just not what it's about. I mean, as soon as we do that, we're going to kill it, and we don't want that to happen. So, even though we're grateful for our income from Thrive Life, very grateful, the heart of the channel has got to be its own thing, and we really mean that.
I spend considerably more time building the channel than I do selling Thrive. That's just kind of a... So we do 12 videos a month, and only one is a cooking with Thrive video. Everything else is hopefully content that you guys want to see, and that somehow, one way or another, enhance your lives or make your life better. That's our main goal, is to make life easier for you in whatever topic we're covering.
Or, get to watch me blubber, or, just...
Or just, travel and entertainment too, so. Okay, any other questions? Yeah.
Any renovations or flips, house flips on the horizon?
Okay, any renovations or house flips on the horizon? I'll give you a short answer, no.
Although every time we think he's at the end of renovating,
Yeah, let me tell you about projects. I get so many comments on the channel that Bill just can't live without his projects. He loves his projects. Well, I got to tell you, I don't. I'm almost 67. I'm ready to be done with it. But they're projects that just need to be done, and I have the knowledge, so I'm not going to pay somebody else to do it. I just can't do that. So the projects continue.
and we're happy to share them.
But
And you do realize it takes twice as long to do a project if you're filming.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
it's
yeah, at
just-
least 50%. If something takes me 2 hours to do, if I turn on the camera, it takes me 3 hours because I'm constantly rearranging the camera and all that kind of stuff. So
It just
takes
goes
longer.
with the territory.
So all the projects that I was doing was just on my own house, or building a camper van or something like that. I wasn't going to do anything more commercially or professionally, because I used to be a contractor for many years. And then our
He's my
son came.
Renaissance man.
Our son came to us and he said, I just found this amazing house that needs renovation. Are you interested in partnering with me? No, I don't want to do that.
It's a huge house. Oh my
But anyway, so I ended up doing that, and we bought it, and he and I together, and Molly most of the time,
Our daughter-in-law.
spent 5 months full-time renovating that house.
5 months to the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like she said, we put it on the market and it sold the first weekend for more than asking price. Barry and I split the profit from it, and the profit that we got from that was what paid for half of our house here in Florida. So I'm glad we did, otherwise we wouldn't have been able to buy the house here debt free like we did. But that's the last planned big project for me.
We'll see.
I'm always good. It's the last big project for me. But I'm always going to have little stuff like the camper van or the camper truck that we just bought. I'm going to build that this summer.
Is that outside?
It is
Yeah,
outside.
that
yeah.
big old,
I thought so.
box truck, that's us. It has a door.
I've still,
And you have a little step. And I have a step, yes.
I've still got a little bit
The
of
door video's coming out.
I've still got a little bit left to finish on the addition in the house in Virginia, but that's getting close. I just have to build a few shelves, and then the flooring, and paint it, and a little bit of molding. So hopefully I can finish that up before too long.
Although, to be quite honest, I'll just tell you real quick, it looks like that the front deck on the house really needs to be replaced.
Yeah.
So that's probably going to be a project this summer.
See what I mean? They just never
And
end.
it's not my fault. I don't do it to it. It just, yeah, it kind of never ends. It's hard to pay somebody when you know you can do it yourself. You know, and the hot tub, which has been so wonderful, little simple 2-person inflated hot tub. He still had to crawl underneath the house and reinforce the porch because you can't put. Well, the thing is like 1,100 pounds of water or something like that right in that one spot, and so it's 145 gallons. But anyway, so he's under there reinforcing it all, and
But I have to admit that doing all these projects does give me good content for the channel, which is good. But on the other hand, somehow along the way, our channel changed from being Tiny House Prepper to being a home renovation channel. I'm not sure how that happened.
well, honey, when you spend 5 months flipping a great big house,
Yeah.
That's about all we could film during that time. I mean, it was a, and I'm telling you honestly, I don't know how many of those videos that you guys watch, but that house got replaced from top to bottom. I mean, it is completely redone, and I got to admit, I walked through that place and it's like, I wish I could afford this house. I mean, it is beautiful, and I'm very proud of it. And it was going to die. It's a beautiful house, and it was this close to just really not being redeemable anymore. Nobody would have put the trouble or the money into fixing that house. They probably would have taken the 5 acres, and razed the old house and brought in something else. So it felt good to I don't know, to rescue it. And it's quite beautiful place.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about, this isn't a question anybody asked, but I want to talk about this. The house that we bought here, the box truck that we just bought, we're going to make a camper out of it, that sort of thing. When we moved here to Florida, well, first of all, when we bought the house in Florida, we got, sit down, dear.
Yes.
We got a lot of criticism on the channel of people saying, if you want a snowbird in Florida, why did you sell your RV? It's so much cheaper to do that than it is to buy a house.
It's not true. See, Floridians know these things.
So many people criticize us for that. But just talking to you guys, how many of you guys are snowbirds that own a house here in Florida and one somewhere else?
Yes. And how many of you guys found out how hard it is to bring an RV down here for like 3 or 4 months at a time? It is virtually impossible.
Now, something else we discovered after we moved here, there's another term I had never heard of. It's called sunbird. You know what that is? Someone who lives in Florida and goes north for the summer when it's cool, instead of coming south for the winter when it's warm. And so I had to realize that actually since we actually moved our residency here because, hey, there's no tax in Florida, right? No income tax.
We jumped through every hoop, guys. We didn't cheat. Everything's legit.
So we're not snowbirds, we're sunbirds. I thought that was a cool distinction.
I mean, I could say I go back up north because it just gets too hot here. No, I go back up north because I have grandchildren.
Yeah.
And as soon as it's not cold.
But originally we had 2 different trailers and 2 different tow vehicles, and our idea was to snowbird every winter. And we just had so many problems with that, with 2 different vehicles that we couldn't keep running. We made several trips where we broke down and ended up towing home and never getting here. Or
And just getting reservations.
you got to make the reservations a year in advance, and if you wait 10 minutes too late, it's full. It was a nightmare. So one of those trips we were coming down and our van broke down and we towed it home again. And we still wanted to come, so we ended up just driving a car and getting a hotel for 2 weeks because that's all we could afford. Instead of 2 months in an RV, it was 2 weeks in a hotel.
We went to Tampa, St. Pete, and we went over to St. Augustine.
Yeah, and we loved the trip. And on the way home, we started talking, and that's where the idea was born. Why don't we just get rid of the RV, forget about it, and just buy a house down here? And about the same time, Barry came to me with this proposition about flipping the house with him and partnering with him. So we decided to do that. So we sold the trailer, we used that money for the house, we used the money from the flip for the house, you know, we used, because we're debt free, we were able to save a lot more because we don't have, you know, we had a lot bigger discretionary income because we're not paying a mortgage. So all that put together, we were able to buy the house down here. But I still had this idea that I desperately want to have an RV of some sort because I want to travel. I want to go out west. I want to go to Arizona in the winter and, you know, 4, 5, 6 weeks at a time.
He watches every travel channel you could possibly imagine. Just drools.
Adventure Van Man. Anybody know that town?
Yeah, he's actually
Adventure Van Man, a guy named Brian. I watch every video he does, and he actually came and stayed with us.
he's a friend of ours. He came and stayed with us. Yeah.
Anyway, so I still wanted to do that. So now the house is here. We're settled. It's paid for. It's furnished. Now it's time.
That was fun, brother.
Yeah. Now it's time for us to start over again with the whole RV thing. So we bought this truck because I'm going to be able to do it for considerably less than buying an RV, and we're really excited about getting it fixed out like a camper, and we're going to start traveling again. We hope to do a month or 6 weeks at a time, you know, in the summer out west and that sort of thing. So
he's very excited about that.
and you're not?
I'm very excited about that. You better be. I'm very excited. No, I mean, just to see the door go in, it's like, wow, this is real.
So that's our future plans for that. So we'll be basically in Virginia in summer, here in the winter, except when we're traveling in the truck once we get it fixed. So, any other questions? Certainly there's more questions.
He's only got 4 states that he has never been to, except Hawaii. That's kind of, but he's been to Alaska. Only 4 states, and that's right up in the Northwest. Montana and Idaho and Washington and Oregon. He's been in every other state in the country. So I got family up there. Those are old stomping grounds for me. I'm from the West. So I am excited about being able to get him up into that part of the country. And I don't know if any of you have ever had a chance to go to Banff or Jasper in Calgary, Canada. BANFF, Banff. I tell you what, we finally had a chance to go there. That's been on my bucket list forever. Oh my goodness, I had cramps from filming. It is so spectacularly beautiful. We did some videos while we were there, but I'm hoping that when we go and we can get up into Idaho and everything, that we'll be able to maybe, unless it's too crazy to get into Canada, we might poke our nose over and go back up there again, because man, I can't recommend that place enough. Just Google Banff, B-A-N-F-F. It's in Alberta, Canada. And the pictures aren't going to hold a candle, but they're still beautiful. So. Anyway, it was really cool to get that off the bucket list. I'm excited to go back possibly if we can get up there. Anyway,
Anyone else?
What is your favorite piano arrangement or song that you love?
to play on the piano?
Yeah. Your favorite?
Yes, I have a favorite. And this has been kind of a, anyway, all right. I love to play the Moonlight Sonata, Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. I absolutely love to play that. And you know that since I had the stroke, I cannot finish the whole thing anymore. I get to like the last chunk of the music. I used to have it memorized, but not really anymore. I get down to about the last chunk and my hand just gives out. People go, well, play half of it, and they go back and play the other half later. It's not quite the same experience. But no, I dearly love the Moonlight Sonata. But no, there's a lot of pieces that are just really fun to play. I will have to record the one I wrote for Bill. I'll have to put that on there and just kind of show you guys. I dearly love jazz. And it's been fun to sometimes play with like a jazz band, that like when you're doing a community jazz band or something. I've loved that. Bill helped me learn how to play the baritone and the trombone. So sometimes they have a piano player, so I can play baritone and trombone with the band. I can tell you a story. I had learned, Bill taught me how to play, well, I was already a musician, so I just had to add the chops and learn how the instrument works. I knew how to read the music and everything. And so I was playing baritone, euphonium, playing that. Well, I went with Bill to Patrick Henry Ranch. It's a plantation, the Patrick Henry Plantation, and they had tons of generals and bunches of big shots there, and they were doing some kind of special ceremony. I don't remember exactly what. There on the plantation, lots of big shots and some senators and stuff. And the band the Army band was playing for that concert. And so, I had played a lot of this music just working with the community band when I learned how, we both played community band. Does anybody know what a stinger is? You tell me what a stinger is? Okay, a stinger is a note that's added at the end of a piece of music to kind of give it.
At the end of a march.
At the end of a march. So da 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 pop, or da 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 bum. It just gives you this little pop at the end. Well, I went there with him to get to see the concert and everything. I loved it. And the band director comes up to me. He's a warrant officer. He comes up and he goes, "We don't have any euphoniums. We don't have any baritones today. They're all either sick or something happened." He goes, "Would you play the baritone part with the band?" Oh, okay. So I said, "Well, yeah, I think I probably can. I mean, I could basically play the music." Bill said there was one baritone soli. It's where only the baritone's playing. And he said, that's going to be way too complicated for you to try to sight read. So he gave me the music for trombone, and I gave him the baritone music, and he played that solely on his trombone to kind of rescue me, okay? So I'm sitting in my civvies with all these military bands, and I'm playing the baritone, and I had a ball with it. It was really fun. I could keep up with stuff, blend in, Well, we end the whole concert with Stars and Stripes Forever, right? I wasn't in any of the rehearsals. Okay, now this was my fault because you always watch the conductor. But I had played that march so many times, and you always put a stinger at the end of Stars and Stripes Forever. However, during rehearsal, apparently they had decided to not put in the stinger. So this is the last moment of this concert with big shots everywhere, and you get this da 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 dum ba da da dum ba dum bum bum bum, and then you hear meh. When I would play the stinger, I wasn't even on melody. I would be on my little harmony part. So it wasn't like a da 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 bum. No, it was da 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 da. I mean, it just was, and this little toot. And all of a sudden I realized, I wanted to play it. And the whole band all around me were going, trying to maintain, military decorum. Later on, Bill goes, yeah, I guess I should have told you. But I also should have watched the conductor, because he didn't conduct the steam, and I did. Oh yeah. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. He taught for a while, which kind of came into my world, and then I got to play in the bands, which was kind of going into his world. And it was fun.
So how did you guys meet?
At church.
Yeah, at church. I grew up in Baltimore and Philadelphia area, and I had never really been west, and I wanted to go skiing. I was a skier, and I wanted to ski in Colorado. So I chose Fort Carson, Colorado, as my first duty assignment. So then I was there for a while, and I started going to a Baptist church out there in Colorado Springs, and Circle Drive Baptist, and that's where we met. So.
I was actually in college up in northern Colorado, and I had come back down home. I grew up most of the time in Colorado Springs. I'd come back home, and we went to church. In fact, this is amazing, because he never notices details. Men just don't. When we had a baby girl, and she had the dark eyes like Bill, and the dimples. We have a lot of dimples in the family. And I said, I prayed for dark eyes and dimples, and look, she's got them both. Because I have dimples. I have a long one and a short one. But he's got serious dimples, And so I told him, I said, I'm just so excited because she got the beautiful dark eyes. Both kids did, and the dimples. And he goes, do you have dimples? We'd been married quite a long time at this point. And I closed my eyes. I said, Bill, what color are my eyes? He's like,
It's a trick question.
In fact, our son walked up to him the day he got married and said, Dad, is there any advice you can give me? He goes, make sure you know what color Molly's eyes are. Anyway, but I walked into Sunday school late. I was kind of late a lot back then. He cured me. I'm not late anymore. But he really helped me to overcome that. But
Help you?
Well, if you're not ready to go, I'm going. You can bring the other car. It was like he does not want to be late, and it was actually good for me. I learned to be early. I learned to be on time. But I was late for Sunday school, and apparently I sat down right in front of him. And what amazes
She had been away at college.
I was at college
when I started going to the church, so she didn't know me at all. First time I ever saw her, she came into Sunday school late.
And sat kind of right in front of him.
Right in the chair right in front of me.
And you know what? Show them, tell them.
She was wearing what in the 70s they called a maxi skirt, the long. It was light blue and had little white flowers all over it.
It's like God said, it's like, because he remembered what I wore. That blows my mind. It just somehow stuck to him. But anyway, that night, a bunch of the college age military, Colorado Springs is lots of military. There's a lot of military there. And so all the military and the college age went out to get some pizza after church on Sunday night. And I had just kind of barely really met him. I didn't really meet him Sunday morning. All of a sudden it turned out that everybody paired up. In fact, the girl he wanted to pair up with took off with an Air Force cadet at the Air Force Academy. He was a soldier at Fort Carson. And it was kind of like, the two of us went kind of like, hi, we're the only ones left. You want to walk over and get some pizza? We had so much fun that night. Oh my goodness. People think he's really serious, but we had so much fun. But yeah, I met him and we kind of paired up and started talking because everybody else took off with somebody else. So, and I'm going to tell you a secret. He was actually fairly shy. Man, shy in high school and nothing pushy at all or anything like this. He was shy. And I'm kind of not shy. And never have been. And, but that night, when we were getting ready to leave, we walked back to the church, and I was getting in my car, and I was going to head home, and there's nobody else really in the parking lot. We've been out actually horsing around on the playground, on the slide and the swings, and just having fun. He was 19 and I was 20. I'm a year older. And he bent down. I'll never forget the parking lot light right above his head. And he bent down and gave me just a really sweet kiss goodnight, which really surprised me. I was like, oh, he has never ever done that before. So, I don't know, it just...
Usually I would go with a girl for 6 months and still never kiss her. It's just that shock.
Anyway, yeah, we met at church.
So how long have you been married?
It'll be 46 years this summer. 46.
What was your anniversary month? What's your anniversary month?
I can't hear you.
Anniversary, July.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be 46 years in July.
We'll be 47 in November.
Oh, congratulations. Yeah. We should give a prize for who's been married the longest.
47 long.
I want to ask some of you out there, what do you think is the secret to long relationships, to a long marriage?
Commitment.
Commitment? Yeah. Oh, goodness, yes. Anybody else?
Laughter.
She said commitment. Yeah.
I think it's, you've been married 44 years. I think that it's compromise.
Oh, compromise. Oh, yeah. Yes. What are you saying?
You gotta make your partner laugh.
Oh, yeah. And with the
Make your
best
partner laugh.
accent. Your accent makes me miss all my friends up in New York. You gotta make your partner laugh. And I just murder his accent, but you gotta make your partner laugh. I think that's awesome.
And respect.
Yes.
Correct, yeah.
We've been married 50 years,
Oh,
and I think that we both said we're not going to try to change the others when we get married to what we want them to be. We accept them the way they are. Of course, we both changed, but it wasn't the other person, the other thing.
that's wonderful. That is showing mutual respect.
Plus,
Who
having
won?
Jesus at the center of our
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we'll be really honest. Jesus is the center of almost 46 years. Absolutely. Life goes through so many ups and downs. And someone told me, a really wise man that we were talking to in Germany, he lived over there for 3 years with the band. And he was telling me, he says, there's going to be times when you just don't feel love anymore. He says, sometimes Jesus being in the middle of your marriage is all you're going to have left. But that's enough. Because love isn't something that you choose on behalf of somebody else. And you'll get through that. And when we make the right choices and we set our will to show love, the feelings follow. The feelings follow. I remember one night, I forget what happened. I was pregnant. That's my excuse. And I remember one night, we both, had gone to bed, and he was like going to sleep, and I'm laying there. And it's like God spoke to my heart, and I was kind of miffed at him. You're young and pregnant and miffed. And God said, just put your hand over on his shoulder. And I go, no, he'll wake up and, no. No, I'm not going to do that. God said, you're going to just disobey me? And I'm like, okay, so very lovingly I went. As soon as I obeyed the Lord, I was just flooded with every sweet thing he'd ever done and how much I just loved him and how sweet he was. Poor guy's trying to go to sleep and I'm rolling over going, I'm so sorry. I love you so much. And he's like, I don't know what I did, but okay. But when we choose to show love, feelings, they'll line up. It's just really cool.
Something that probably you don't realize about me, and you brought it up when she said that I kiss her the first night I met, because I've never done that before. But I'm actually an extreme introvert.
Would not know that.
What?
Would not know that.
Yeah. I had no problem with the camera, and I had no problem in a situation like this. I actually love to teach and preach to an audience, but talking one-on-one, especially for somebody that I don't know or something like that, to ask directions. Of course, men don't ask directions, but anything like that, I'm completely allergic to the phone. I don't, call people. she's my PR man, that's why I married her. But I'm really an extreme introvert, but I have no problem with the camera at all. It's kind of funny because I do a lot of training with Thrive. I do a lot of training with my team members about how to do social media, and so many of them are terrified of the camera. And I can't figure that out because nobody's there, and if you don't like what you film, delete it and do it again. I don't understand what is the problem with the camera, because if you don't like it, you just delete it. So, but anyway, there's my secret. I'm an introvert, but the way I'm doing it on YouTube and in meetings like this, it's my little secret. You can't tell.
Now, he loves this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How difficult was it to get over like being tongue-tied and stuff like that in front of the camera? I have a difficult time. So I'm just wondering.
Well, okay, at first I was somewhat of a perfectionist. And so I would cut out or re-film bloopers. And
Everything had to be just right.
And she would sometimes get a little upset at me. In fact, we haven't fought for years and years, for decades, with one exception, when we turn on the camera. Because we have different ideas of what we should do. So she finally got tired of it, and she kept saying, we need to leave the bloopers in. I'm saying, no, it doesn't look professional. And she said, well, don't you like it at the end of a movie when they show a blooper reel? And I had to admit, you know, I kind of do. When you see people step out of character, and it's fun. So she convinced me to put a couple bloopers at the end of a couple of videos, and probably 80% of the comments on that video was about the bloopers, not about the video. And it made me realize that we are more real and personable if we leave the bloopers in.
Just be real.
So now, unless they're a radically bad blooper, if I stumble on, or get tongue tangled, I just leave it in, and people laugh at it, and it makes me more relatable.
You just have to learn that it's just okay to be yourself. And if somebody wants to watch it, they will, and if they don't, they won't.
Are you trying to do a channel or videos, or okay, or do you have one, or are you just starting?
I do have one. I haven't put any of me talking. I do music and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I tell my team members that are trying to work on it and they're afraid of the camera, I say, just put the camera on and just film yourself cooking, or just film yourself doing something, folding clothes or whatever, and just talk about what you're doing. It's not going to be a video that anybody sees. You just watch it yourself and get used to talking on the video. And if you watch the video, then you can see things that you do that you don't realize, little tics and things, that you don't realize you're doing, and then you can work on that. But just let the camera run and just get used to talking to the camera and what you look like on camera, what your voice sounds like, and learn from it. It's just for you. Yeah.
How long were you doing YouTube before you bought an actual camera? Did you start with using your iPhone?
A lot of people have big channels and only with their iPhone or with their phone.
We actually didn't have fancy iPhones at first.
All we had was a flip phone that didn't really record. We had an old home movie camera from the mid-90s, and it wasn't even HD.
That's right.
And that's what we started with, and we were probably doing it for a year or a year and a half before I invested in a good camera like we got here now. And a lot of people say, well, what's the best camera to use for, to build a YouTube channel? And I say, the one that is the most handy, the one that you have with you, which for most people is your phone. So now, that's my main camera that's specifically designed for vlogging, and it works well for that. But we use the camera or the phone all the time. If something comes up and we don't have our camera, we just grab the phone and do it. So if you want to use just your phone, that's fine. If you want to invest in something designed for that, then that's a step above. So as we were recording, all of a sudden, I didn't even notice that the battery on the camera ran out, so the battery stopped.
Yeah.
The camera stopped recording, so that's why I just chopped off like that.
Yeah.
So sorry about that, but it went on for another half hour or so, and that would have been a very long video anyway.
Oh, sure. Right.
This at least gave you kind of an idea of what it was all about and how much fun everybody seemed to have.
If I'm in the other room and he's working on this video, editing it, it sounds like there's a really funny show on and I hear this like laughter bursting out all the time.
Like a TV show?
Yeah. Yeah. So like we can hear everybody laughing. And it's cool because when you're there, of course everybody's laughing together and you're having fun, but hearing it from another room, I thought, boy, he's watching some kind of a really fun program on YouTube or something.
Cue cards, laugh.
Yeah, there were no cue cards. Yeah.
So as we mentioned in the first video, we do have a couple more meetups coming up. We're going to be having one this summer, probably in Virginia or at least somewhere further north. We don't have a date or a place set for that. We'll let you know when as soon as we do. And then
go ahead. We'll get it started as soon as we can, but we don't have to plan things quite as far ahead there as we do down here.
Right.
Because things don't fill up so quickly.
Yeah, down here we have to make reservations for a year in advance or we don't get the reservation. So
yes.
We already have a reservation for here for November 16th.
Yes.
2024.
This year.
At the Henderson Beach State Park near Destin.
Yeah.
So save that date, and at some time in the future I will do a video that will give you an RSVP so you can let us know that you're coming. I don't have that set up yet, but at least save the date, and we very much look forward to seeing you. I know many of you wanted to come and for one reason or another weren't able to. So you'll have a couple more opportunities in the future.
Sure. And yeah, it is just a beautiful beach there on the Emerald Coast. And so yeah, if somebody wants to come save that date, it's Henderson Beach. If you wanted to try to find camping there, check as early as you possibly can.
Yeah, they do have a really nice campsite there.
Sorry.
So
yeah, they're beautiful camping there.
If you want to do that, you should make reservations now.
Yeah, I would advise doing it as quickly as you can. We're trying to let you guys know as early as we can.
Yeah.
All righty.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed seeing all the laughter and how people were enjoying it.
Everybody was wonderful. Like I said, I've said in the other video, just what a wonderful bunch of people.
Absolutely.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. So we're always glad to see everybody face to face. It's fun.
Yeah. So, thanks for watching.
Yep, live simple.
Live free. You be blessed.
Yeah. Love you guys. And of course, we will see you very soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.